What's up, guys? This is Chris Young. This is The Quad with Chris Young. As always, we've got Ryan, now in Tennessee from Miami.
Are we changing my name to Ryan, now in Tennessee?
Ryan, formerly of Tampa, also from Miami, now in Tennessee.
Yes. Ooh,
yeah.
Ooh, voice cracked a little bit there, buddy.
It's been a long morning.
Haley the Bear's out this week, and of course, producer Josh.
Hello, everybody.
Very excited to be hanging out. This is technically ACM week.
Yeah. Next Monday.
It's on Monday. Very much looking forward to that. Do we want to start with music first? We can
Let's
jump off right there.
Music.
So, At the End of a Bar with Mitchell Tenpenny, which I will be performing on the ACM Awards. Very pumped about that. Also doing some Raised on Country. I get to do like a cool medley performance, man. I'm very excited about this. But
spoilers.
I mean, I think we already announced it.
Well,
yeah.
It's fine. It's fine.
I was going to say, you just freaked me out. I was like, did I announce that? I think I did.
Did I? I believe so.
Like, I believe, yeah.
I think we did.
I think I saw the ACM graphic.
There it is. There it is. It's very nice photos of me and Mitchell looking not like we dress on days off.
Yeah, absolutely.
But At the End of a Bar is actually number one on the Sirius XM Highway.
That's really good timing.
Yeah.
It's really good timing.
Let's go.
Yeah, shout out to you guys at the Highway. Thank you so much. And anybody that has called in and requested that song or sent in requests, thank you very, very much. That is awesome timing, like you said, and it's nice to be able to see that happen.
Pretty perfect. And by the way, if you want to hear the live performance of that song, tune into the ACM Awards next Monday.
On Amazon Prime.
Right?
Just free plug. You're welcome.
I have done. There's all kinds of free plugs going on today. Evidently,
this podcast is brought to you by Little Deborah.
Yeah, and I know we're
rock star rep for dropping off some cases of that to get me through this morning.
Oh, is that for us, by the way?
Oh yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Good.
I know we're in the music section, but which one of these one?
This was a record-breaking poll. We had more votes on this one than we've had on anything.
Wow.
Which is really exciting.
That's
However,
surprising.
Wow, Little Debbie is what brings America together. I love that.
Evidently,
people are very opinionated about their Little Debbie snack cakes. Oatmeal cream pies won by 100 votes.
Let's go, baby.
However, I would like to see, Ryan, since you said you love a nice, warm, melted,
toasty,
nutty buddy.
Yep.
I think after we record this podcast, let's throw one in the microwave and then we can film you eating it.
Oh my God.
Wait, really?
Yeah, for lunch.
Okay.
I mean, as they say on the back of this box, peanuts, an American favorite. So, I mean, I'm down to...
Unless you have an allergy.
to nuke.
Evidently, this is the American favorite since it won.
It's true. Just small sample size, but...
Just want to throw that out there.
Just saying. Little, nice, toasty, nutty buddy. You know?
So seven nominations. How are you feeling? Like, are you nervous? Are you excited? What's going on through your head right now?
All right. So I said this to somebody, and obviously... I want this performance to be epic, and I want it to be awesome, and I want to have fun with it. That being said, somebody the other day asked me about the same thing, but they were more like, hey, are you nervous? I was like, man, I'm going to be honest with you. What is the worst possible thing that I could do? Is sing poorly.
Yeah, voice crack during the song.
In which case, what would happen? Everyone would talk about it.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, it's one of those things. I'm that far into my career. I don't know that would be the end of it. Like, if people don't think I can sing by now, it's too late.
There's a lot of people that would disagree with that.
Well, I'm very, very excited to be performing on the show.
That stadium, too. You're going to be in Allegiant Stadium, which is going to be pretty cool.
I don't know if this is like offensive for me to call it this, but it looks like a giant Roomba. So I'm playing the giant Roomba.
And with a Chiefs flag bearing under it, right?
The Chiefs flag bearing under. Let's go, KC for life.
Okay. Allegiant Stadium, I've never been before. I've seen it. It looks amazing.
The aerial shot is ridiculous.
but I've never actually been inside. So this will be the first time that I'm there. So it's going to be very, very special, and it'll give me another memory at another stadium, and just even verbalizing that is kind of wild. But
it's going to be great to have fans back at an award show like that too.
Yes,
it's going to be an awesome atmosphere out there in Vegas.
Do you want to talk about the Chiefs flag thing? Because I'm sure there's plenty of people that don't know what you're talking about.
Sure.
Right now.
So one of the designers and builders of Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, as some of you know, and maybe you don't, the Las Vegas Raiders are in the same division as the Kansas City Chiefs. They are a longtime rival. I hate them with everything inside of me. And
did you hate the Oakland Raiders as much as the Las Vegas Raiders?
Okay, everything Raiders. I hate the Los Angeles Raiders. There's not a Raider.
We're not to sports yet. Just tell the story.
Anyway, one of the designers and builders is a diehard Kansas City Chiefs fan, and so he buried a Chiefs flag in the cement that they were pouring at the stadium. So there's a little bit of Kansas City right there, no matter what they do.
Cold-blooded.
I love that. And that's what makes rivalry so freaking fun.
Is it at the 50-yard line like that? I kind of curious.
Couldn't tell you. No idea.
I bet
Probably
they wouldn't
not.
Like
do
the
that.
Star in Dallas is at the 50-yard line. Like is the flag buried?
See, I don't
under
think
there?
they would do at the 50-yard line because it would be too easy for somebody to notice that and find that.
So it's like buried under like a hot dog stand.
It's like
a
Concourse
concession.
B.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
exactly what
absolutely.
it is. Yeah. Love that.
That guy will go there for the rest of his life going, I know it's right here.
Yep.
It's right here.
It's right underneath my feet.
You think there's like a treasure map where like an X marks the spot and he like leaves it?
I'm sure
Like
there
a time
is.
capsule buried somewhere with a treasure map? Yeah, that'd be fun.
National Treasure 3. Let's go.
I mean, that's what we kind of got. A little bit of that for the movies this week.
Teaser.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Hey, so
Go ahead.
I don't want to jinx anything. So if you feel like I'm going to say something that'll jinx something, I
Don't.
can stop.
Okay.
Do you want me to stop?
Can you hit the spoiler
No,
alert button?
good. Just no, go ahead. Go ahead.
I would say rarely in the history of award shows does the most nominated person not win at least one. It's just a statement. I'm not asking a question. I'm just merely stating.
I know.
Rarely does like Beyonce up for 7 Grammys and she doesn't win any. You know what I mean?
But it is possible.
It is possible. I'm just putting good out there in the world.
Again, we've been over this, and I've said this before, and I don't mean this from a place of anything other than realism, right? Mm-hmm. Just being realistic. It could happen. I might not win any of them. I'm also not going to tell you that I wouldn't want to win all of them. I'm just not going to do that.
If you sweep 7,
I'm not. It's not going to happen. But
Sweep in the Roomba. Let's go.
I like that.
Let's create the hashtag sweep in the Roomba.
But again, and this is just such a well-worn phrase, but it's the truth. I've never been most nominated anything, and wow, I just ate that word, didn't I? I've never been the most nominated artist at anything, and very, very honored to be nominated and in the categories that I'm nominated in, and for this song and this album, and I'm enjoying that. I'm going to enjoy the moment no matter what it is, and happy to be there.
Yeah, that alone is such a
Yeah.
freaking cool thing.
Hey, you're nominated too, by the way. I just want to make sure that's well known.
Sort of. You're
a part of this.
I am
by the way.
a party to a nomination. I am adjacent.
You're adjacent and a part.
Nomination adjacent.
Nomination adjacent.
Yes.
I like it.
Can I put that in my Instagram bio?
Yeah, why not?
ACM nominated adjacent.
That I said the same thing to Mitchell. I'm like, I mean, technically, like you're on a song on the record that is nominated for Album of the Year. So
If Album of the Year wins, I want whatever plaque that exists. I will pay any amount of money to hang that on my wall. So let me just throw that out there.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, we're talking too much about this.
Christmas gift, by the way.
Yeah. Let's do a quick round of what are you listening to? Do you want me to start, Ryan? So
No.
you have one ready to go?
I came prepared with the Spotify up right now. Of
That's
a song
all we needed was Ryan to move to Nashville.
to become prepared.
Yeah.
Who knew?
I think he just Googled the hot country playlist, but that's
wrong,
fine.
wrong. Because I did just listen to the song. It's one of our buddies too. Backwards by John Langston, new song that just came out. So Langer just put out a new one. Go listen to it. It's a really good one. Langer.
What?
Okay, you want to call him and ask him if
this
that's
like
a good
Tenny
nickname?
Penny?
Because I'm
Like,
telling
I was-
you, like So a good buddy of mine, Brandon Harrison, calls him Langer. So I've adopted it. Langer is the adopted nickname of.
As you know, someone else that actually uses this nickname. You didn't make this one up, so that's fine.
I haven't verbally called him Langer to his face yet. So.
Right. All right. Josh, what do you got?
I think we should call him right now. Mine is, I had mentioned this song a couple weeks ago for pre-save. It came out on Friday. I wrote this song with the Swan Brothers called Who You Are. It's a really like worshipful, like inspiring, hopeful kind of song. And it came out this last Friday. So Who You Are by the Swan Brothers, featuring Emily Ann Roberts, who is also on The Voice. They're all a bunch of Team Blake people. But she's ridiculous. Their harmonies are ridiculous. It's so fun, and it's cool to see the reaction.
You wrote it.
And I wrote it, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's cool to see the reaction of all that.
I like when you write things.
Thanks, man.
I like when you write things as well. Since you are signed to my company.
Yes.
I will shamelessly also say I've seen a couple of my friends that are writers talking about the song already.
Oh.
Which is cool.
Oh.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Has it gone
So
viral
there
on
you go.
TikTok over in Japan yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
No.
Not yet.
That's the level of standard that I
No,
need
but
for
there
that.
was a house church in, hold on, I will tell you where it was at, in Mongolia. And we got a video of them watching the video and
What?
like, after their house church. Yeah, that's a real thing that happened.
That's awesome. Okay.
power of the internet.
How about
everyone.
Global Gleave? I like that. No?
All right.
I'm here for that. Let's
Global
go.
Gleave. I am gonna go with a random one, and this song used to be my ringtone.
I can't wait.
And my girlfriend at the time made me change it. She's like, this just creeps me out when this is the ringtone that wakes me up when you're at the house. And it is Somebody's Watching Me by Rockwell.
It's such a great
But I mean, to
I can
be
understand
fair,
how the feeling of that
I can
making
see why
somebody
she felt that
uncomfortable.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah, by the way, like there's somebody somewhere that was listening to that go, oh God, he caved and he let his girlfriend change his ringtone. I was like, well, it was kind of a creepy song if that's what wakes you up.
Question is, what'd you change it to?
Oh man, I don't even remember. I mean,
Ryan,
this
did you
has
have a
been
weird
little
one?
bit.
Did you have a weird one that was your ringtone? Because I definitely did.
I had, do you remember like the MySpace music you could play on your profile
Do
back
I
in the day?
That's not,
remember.
first of all, that's not a ringtone, and yes, we remember.
I remember how to use.
We're
how to,
older than you.
Yeah, HTML to embed that stuff. Let's go.
Yeah.
Mine was Evanescence on the MySpace. Right, random.
Which song? That's just a band.
You know the popular song. I'm forgetting the with the one with
Wake
the
me
piano.
up.
Yes, there you go. There it is. Wake me up. Yes.
That was your
Wake
that,
me up. Wake me
That was your
up.
ringtone, or that was your alarm
That
tone?
was the.
I would just like to apologize, seeing as I know the guy that wrote that song. The popular one. I mean, at least
The
that's what he
popular
said.
one.
At least you said the
That's the
popular
popular one.
like sold 10 million records.
Yeah,
the good
no,
one.
It's insane.
Check out my MySpace.
Mine was Careless Whisper.
Really? All right. So,
Wow.
did you ever see Sexy Sax Man on the internet? Have you ever seen this?
I have it pulled up on my phone right now.
Okay, if you don't know what we're talking about, is it just under Sexy Sax Man?
It's just
Is
Sexy
that-
Sax Man.
This guy basically went around and did this compilation video, and it's him in like
It's
a
Los
leather
Angeles.
vest,
Yeah.
like this like mohawk mullet combo haircut, and leather pants, and it's like everywhere from schools to
Grocery stores.
grocery stores.
There's a library.
There's a library. He is at a food court at one point, and
Is this
he
like
is
dude
playing,
with a sign, but just like playing?
He's just
playing
got,
a saxophone.
He has a saxophone, and he's just playing Careless Whisper.
That's it. That's
And
the whole thing.
That's the
pretty
whole
great.
bit. And like, there's a part where he starts getting kicked out of because he's like, somebody ordered Sexy Sax Manstagrams, or like it's like some weird thing that he's like, yeah, somebody ordered this. Like they paid me to come do this. No one paid him to come do this. He's just doing it for the
It's going
video.
Viral, yeah.
And and he's let's say gyrating.
Yeah, he's
He's,
there's some pelvis.
There's pelvic thrust.
pelvic
Mick
things.
Jaggering
Yeah.
moves like Jagger.
Yeah, it's a little
Jagger adjacent. Yes.
Yeah, it's Jagger adjacent. And he starts getting kicked out by security, and he goes, "This guy hates George Michael.
This
Boo."
guy hates George.
And everyone starts booing the security at the mall.
great.
It's really, really funny. It's very dumb, but
I love the internet.
yeah, go
Sometimes.
go spend 4 minutes of your day checking that out. It's pretty funny. All right, let's go to sports.
Sports.
I originally did not have anything NFL based to talk about, but you want to jump in here? Because we found this out while we were at breakfast before we got here this morning.
Yeah, Kyler Murray, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Arizona quarterback and some of the story, but he was basically doing the relationship thing you do when you break up with somebody, where you just remove them from your Instagram profile. So he had no pictures of him with the Cardinals on his IG profile. He removed them from his bio on there, and everybody's like, "What the heck's going on with Kyler Murray?" Well, that drama had ensued for weeks, and now his agent comes out and says, "Well, Kyler wants to be with the Cardinals, but he wants a long-term contract." It's an interesting play to basically do the hard to get and then try and come back and say, "Hey, I want to be here long term," even though you didn't showcase that on social media. It's kind of a weird situation. I don't really understand it. I don't know the strategy behind it, why, or what you're trying to do there or accomplish, Kyler Murray. But I would advise not doing that next time.
I feel like personally he committed to one thing and then went, "Oh, no, this isn't what I wanted to do."
It's a pivot.
His agent surveyed the
Right.
landscape and was like, "Oh, this isn't going to be good."
But the problem is that he already, wiped them from all of his stuff. And then he went with the ultimatum of, "I want a long-term contract and I want to be here." And now it just looks like, from the outside looking in, he wants to get paid and he feels like he messed up. I mean, that's how it looks to me.
Yeah. Do you think that he's on Arizona this next season?
Yeah. I mean, I
do.
don't know
think
what
his
they would
contract's
do.
up. His contract's not up yet. So, I mean, what's he going to sit out and not get paid?
Or they trade him?
I would consider him a top 10 quarterback in the league. Would you not?
I would consider
Top
him a
10?
top 10 fantasy quarterback. I don't
For
know.
sure.
He puts
Yeah,
up
yeah,
numbers.
yeah.
I mean, they had. Remember how the Cardinals started this year? They were Super Bowl favorites midway through the season.
Do you remember how they ended?
Yeah, not very well.
It wasn't the best ending.
But there was a point in time where we considered them like the, behemoth in terms of Super Bowl contenders, and then they bombed out. But Kyler's a very talented quarterback. But this is the age we're in this quarterback age now. Like, you don't get what you want, you play the game on social media, and then you try to come. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
All right.
What the strategy would be.
Let's play the hypothetical. Let's say the Cardinals are like, "Enough. It's time for us to move on." Do you know what position they draft this year?
Probably not very high, considering they lost to the Rams, in the playoffs. So it'd be back end of the first round.
15.
Back into the first round. 17. So conceivably
But
could get like
there's not a true quarterback coming out this year. We talked about that. That's like
I think
a
Matt
starting
Corral is gonna. I know. A lot of people are gonna be like, he's a system quarterback. I know. We did have this conversation, you and I, the other day. But I do think that guy's got a great arm and definitely can build into something.
Do you want to know? I have a little bit of inside info of a reason why I believe he's now reversing course. Okay, his contract this year, he's slated to make $5.4 million, but his base salary is only $965K. He's due a roster bonus of $4.5 million that's fully guaranteed.
There it is.
So if he doesn't play this year, he's basically making under $1 million. But if he does show up, there's $4.5 million guaranteed in his pocket.
He just has to show up to training camp, correct?
Right.
5th day of the league year is when he's guaranteed that.
I think he's going to be really great on the Houston Texans. I think that they sent JJ, they sent DeAndre, and now they're going to send Deshaun out there, and that'll be that.
Oh, that'd be an interesting swap. I mean, stuff aside.
Right. Well, I was going to say there's
Aside
other
from all
stuff.
There's lots of
the
stuff.
civil
There's lots of
suits and all
stuff.
that stuff. But if it was just a straight up football trade,
I would be interested to see anyone, and this goes for Aaron Rodgers if he decided to leave Green Bay. Definitely Kyler Murray if they were going to trade him, which I don't think they will. But if they did, I would really be interested to see them on the Broncos. I do not understand why everybody is so down on the Broncos as a team with a defense that good with 11 picks, I think that they have coming up, and $40 million of open cap space. They have not had any quarterback for their team be in the top 28 since they've had that defense.
Peyton Manning did win him a Super Bowl, though.
They won despite Peyton, I should say.
He
won them
was
the
that?
first one,
Yeah.
not
When
the
was
second
that?
one.
Yeah.
That was 2016.
2016.
So since
50th
Peyton
Super
left,
Bowl.
that was the time frame that I'm talking about, Ryan. Like,
It's Trevor
since
Siemian, it's
Peyton
Drew
left,
Lock, it's
they have
Paxton
had like
Lynch.
one of the statistically worst QB situations in the league.
And I like Teddy Bridgewater, but he kind of got an unfair shake too. There's actually a lot of like good teams on the cusp that need a quarterback. Pittsburgh is one of them. Denver's one of them.
All
like
right,
there's
but
Tampa Bay is
Pittsburgh-
one of them.
Pittsburgh
Cleveland.
doesn't have the defense that
They have
the Denver
T.J.
does.
Watt, who's the best defensive player in the league.
I would argue it's Micah Parsons, but that's personal.
Only broke a sack record that was standing by Michael Strahan for 2
Yeah,
decades.
it's all right. Michael Parsons only played at literally every different position on the team outside of, I think, center and quarterback.
And I bet he could.
We're arguing.
He
'cause
might
I
could.
bet he could.
Jalen Ramsey was the defensive player of the year.
Get
Got
out
the
of
Super
here.
Bowl.
Get out of here.
No way.
Get out of here. Anyway, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. Speaking of seeing what happens with things, Major League Baseball still far apart.
Today is the deadline to get a deal done to get the 162 game season. I don't think that's going to happen. Call me pessimistic, but I don't know that they're going to get all of it done today.
I mean, you know where I stand on this.
You know where I stand. Steroids.
Yeah.
I do like this hill that you are
Just
on
whisper
right now.
it too. He's like, steroids.
So I was listening this morning to Jeff Passan talking about this on ESPN, and I found it fascinating that he brought up this point. Obviously, again, that you start to cancel games beyond this point, right? In the beginning, early of the season. April, though, is a month to consider because that's when the regional network checks start to get cut to teams. That's a large chunk of change that these franchises will be missing out on. Games aside, you're talking about that's the moneymaker, those TV deals. When those checks aren't coming in, that's when I think owners will start to feel the pressure and possibly start to cave a little bit more towards the players here.
Possibly.
But April's still, that's obviously a ways away. We're talking about getting into March to when then you start really feeling the pressure. But I don't know. For me and the PR on this side, I feel like everybody is ragging on the owners and Rob Manfred. Like the target is on Manfred, not the players right now.
I just want to, March is tomorrow.
Yes.
Okay. Just like you said, when we start getting into March, I'm like, it's
Into
tomorrow.
like center of March. Like my birthday, March 11th.
Yeah, 14 hours from now, March.
Yeah.
14.
Well, which, by the way, means March Madness is coming. Yeah.
Very excited about that. Before we get off MLB, you want to talk about the news that just popped right before we
Derek
before we came on?
Jeter. Derek Jeter stepping down as CEO of the Marlins, and I think what was cited was like a difference in opinion in the trajectory of the franchise, which I don't understand. I mean, this is Derek came here obviously.
I mean, it's
Derek came here.
it's been this forever, right?
It has been this.
Yeah.
It has been. Yeah. Well, thank
Sorry.
you. Well, 2 World Series, by the way, 3 playoff appearances, 2 World Series. I think
When?
that's pretty good. 1997 and 2003. 2003. I'm
Those
still alive.
those championships can legally drink.
That's very true. Yes, they can.
It's like me
yes,
being
they can.
excited about
Look,
the Cowboys.
I'm
when I was
still
4.
love drunk off Luis Castillo and Derek Lee back in the day. Okay, so
Yeah.
there's obviously some nostalgia there, but this is the thing that confuses me about Derek because he kind of weaseled his way into buying this franchise. Like he weaseled his way into tied up with Bruce Sherman, who by the way was the money front guy. Jeter was the face guy in terms of being a co-owner. Now he steps down as the CEO of the Marlins in a confusing move because he was the guy that was preaching same thing like we heard with the Sixers. Process, right? Let's let it take its course. So the Marlins did make, the playoffs in a 60-game shortened season a few years ago, but it's surprising to me that Derek now steps aside when Kim Ng, who is the first female GM in baseball history, he appointed her. I don't understand. He's been the guy leading the direction. So if there's a difference in direction, that reflects on him.
Maybe they would like it to do this instead.
I would like it to do that too. It'd
I know you
be
would.
excellent to have an above 500 season. That would be nice.
For anyone listening, audio only, by the way, that's we're pointing up.
Oh, yeah.
As opposed to flat, which is where it feels like that team has been for a while. And if you aren't already on our YouTube page, what are you doing?
YouTube.com/C/The Quad with Christian.
Yeah.
Go subscribe.
Subscribe for sure.
Thank you.
Do it.
Comment.
We love you.
Do it.
Share it.
Do it.
Tell your friends.
College basketball with March Madness on the horizon, which is part of my hot take today.
Okay.
This is part of my hot take, and this leads into it. So I'm not going to spend too much time here.
It was a crazy weekend, by the way.
Yeah. 7 of the top 10 teams lost in a single day.
Which I believe is the first time that's ever happened.
Yes.
6 has happened a bunch. 7 first time.
Number 1, Gonzaga. Number 2, Arizona. Number 3, Auburn. Number 4, Purdue. Number 5, Kansas. Number 6, Kentucky. And number 9, Texas Tech, all losing on the same day. God, I knew I should have parlayed all those games.
The previous
That would have
record.
been plus
Oh,
like
my God.
10,000.
But $1, you could have won
The
$1 million.
previous record was 6, which has occurred 5 times, most recently February 4th, 2017.
Oh, here you go. Fun fact. If you had parlayed the money line of all 6 winning teams, a $100 bet would have netted you $37,500.
Woo. All right.
That'd have been fun.
That is some cash.
That would have been a good Saturday.
It's just wild to think about that, though.
Do we have a favorite going in, by the way, now that March is around the corner?
We'll get to that.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah, we'll get to that. Now,
that's a nice tease for you, ladies and gentlemen.
where Josh really wants to live. Let's talk about them Lakers and
In
losing
La La Land?
14 of the last 20. Go to the NBA. Woof.
They got booed off their home court last night after losing to the Pelicans.
They were down 30 to the Pelicans at one point.
I advise you, by the way, as someone with experience here, don't live and bet the Lakers.
No, don't ever do that. In fact, short
happened
the
last
Lakers
night.
for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
And I think you'll probably be all right.
Okay.
Look, there's a moment in sports, and we've all seen it throughout the years, where your favorite athlete starts to decline just a little bit in real time. And that's been happening for the last couple seasons. And this season, I'm watching LeBron James, a person that I've been watching since I was in high school. He's the same age as you and I. Like,
Yeah.
He's two months older
Which
than I
is
am.
weird.
Yeah.
It's weird to think about. He's made a lot more money than either me or Josh.
Combined. Yes, correct. Today.
Yes. Like today alone.
Today alone.
Probably.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is the hard part about sports is you watch people that were it brought so much life to watch him play basketball. And granted, he's still dropping 30 a game.
I was about to say, like, this isn't on him.
I'm not burying
it's
him
not
yet.
on him.
I'm not burying him yet, but he has to drop 30 for them to lose by 30. Do you like that's
That is a team problem there.
but he has
He assembled
cannot
that
believe
team.
they didn't do something. Yeah, but they should have done something at the trade deadline, and they didn't.
he wanted
He's not happy.
it was Russell Westbrook and Taylor Horton Tucker and the 2027 first round pick for John Wall and someone else. I think Christian Wood or something.
Should have
Like
done.
But here's my thing. I don't think this was a one move type of team away from being a contender in the West. Like they were one move away.
They right now look like they're not going to make.
They
the
need a
playoffs.
healthy Anthony Davis, which hasn't happened since he entered the league. They need Russ to get on the same page with LeBron, which hasn't happened.
not gonna happen.
They have
Russ
no
is done.
depth. They can't shoot. Like they can't play defense. This team can't do anything right now other than have LeBron score 30.
At one point, I think they said they'd miss like 11 threes in a row.
Yeah.
And like in the in-game commentary, the guys are like, "This is a game that you don't even watch. You just burn this tape. You never want to look at this again."
Yeah.
There's nothing redeeming. There's nothing to be learned from this game.
Yeah, you're forced to go to that press conference afterwards and you,
You
just
got
sit
your
there and
butt
you go,
kicked.
I want to go tomorrow.
We're moving
Yeah.
on.
Can I propose something for a second here? Because I brought it up casually on a previous podcast, but I'm serious about it now because this team is not going anywhere. They are not going to be contenders in the West this year. What are your thoughts about potentially trading LeBron and Anthony Davis if you're Rob Pelinka, Jeannie Buss, and the Lakers to literally blow this thing up, reset? But you trade the second greatest player of all time and Anthony Davis to reset and reboot. They go
Where?
they go to a contender.
Who has space to take that?
No one has space to take that.
Someone will create space to take
not
LeBron.
a contender.
No.
impossible.
Like what?
Like a Memphis?
Perfect example.
Memphis doesn't have the space.
Memphis doesn't have space. John Morant going out of his mind this
Love
year.
that kid. MVP.
Definitely up for MVP. I don't think he's MVP, but he's up for it.
The only team that has space to absorb LeBron James is the Oklahoma City Thunder, who are not a contender.
No.
Who are actively trying to lose games.
There's been talk about Bam and Duncan going to LA for LeBron.
No.
I'm just saying.
He's not going to want to go back to
Who
Miami
said that?
right now.
Who said that?
Ryan said
smart
that
people.
from his house.
Ryan said that. I really hope that this happened. That's what
I
Ryan.
called Pat and I said, Pat, listen, this would be a really good deal to make. Bring the king back home.
It's a broken thing. I think you punt on this season, much like LeBron's first season when he had all the younger dudes, and you just you shut it down with a couple weeks to go. The problem is LeBron wants to make sure that he's getting his all-time points for the rest of the season to make sure that he can pass Kareem.
Right.
You think he's stat padding right now?
Oh, 100%. Why do you think he's dropping 30 a game? He's not. You're not going to win games. And he has to get 30.
Wow. Time out. So this is something that really bugs me. LeBron is a great scorer. He is an all-time scorer. Everyone always puts him in the conversation with MJ. They're like, Jordan, like LeBron has broken some of those records.
Almost all of them.
Yeah.
Except for championships.
And everybody just sleeps on it because, again, it's deceptive how much he scores. I don't know.
He's
if
also played.
stat
He's also
padding.
played more minutes than any player in NBA history, if I'm not mistaken. Like his minutes played are insane and ridiculous, which also
by
helps
the way,
break
is
those records.
Yeah, it helps break those records, but it's also a testament to
His
how
durability.
he's kept himself
Yeah.
in shape.
Yeah.
And
I mean, basically missed 2 seasons, if that, with key
Yeah.
injuries. That's about it.
I mean,
Maybe.
not two full
Not
seasons.
full, but
no,
like two
a
major
couple
injuries.
A couple weeks per season
Still
twice.
It's still insane. It's still insane.
I remember the beginning of the season when everybody was really pumped about the Knicks.
Yikes.
Yeah, they're bad.
I didn't just want to poop on your favorite team. Sorry. I just
No,
I
it's
wanted
okay.
to have
It's
somebody
okay.
else in there.
No, it's okay.
You're a Knicks fan?
No, the Lakers.
Oh,
Yeah. He's like,
I got confused there.
So, last quick thing before we get to movies. John Morant, definitely up there. You know who else is up in the MVP conversation, I think?
DeMar DeRozan?
No.
You don't put DeMar DeRozan up there.
No.
No.
Given no Zach LaVine and the Bulls being-
I love what DeMar DeRozan has done. It's amazing to be able to break records held by Jordan and Wilton. It's fantastic. 50% shooting and all that
Without
stuff.
taking threes, the dude dominated.
No, yeah, because he doesn't take threes. He
Doesn't do
took
it
like
very well.
one. And again, I love Chicago. I said that at the beginning of the season. They're not even healthy right now and still beating people. Embiid.
should. I mean,
And it's going to make it more difficult to defend him now that you have Harden.
do you think that's going to split votes though?
I think
I
it's a
wouldn't.
disservice considering that Ben Simmons didn't play all this season, and Embiid was the most dominant player on the court every time he stepped on the court.
And his main issue has been, did he play enough games? And this year he did.
He did. He could have won it last year, by the way. There was an argument
I
to be
know.
made that he should have won it over Jokic last year.
Him and Jokic are 1A, 1B this year as well, and I'm inclined.
You wouldn't say Ja is in that
No,
category?
no,
Given
I would
Memphis
not.
is 20 games over 500.
I get that they're overperforming, but I do not trust that team in the postseason. I think
Maybe you don't, but an MVP award isn't awarded in the postseason. It's
I understand.
awarded during the regular season.
I
And
understand.
Ja's having an unbelievable year this year.
he is having an unbelievable year, as is Desmond Bain, as is
That team is actually
Steven
pretty
Adams,
good.
as it.
I probably
they're-
couldn't have named you another Memphis Grizzly if you hadn't named all those. I do have a question, though, in terms of, because you brought it up, CY, on Philadelphia right now, because Embiid and Harden look really good together, at least in the 2-game sample sizes that we have. And Harden is the first player in NBA history to put up 25 and 10 in his first 2 games with a team. Are they right now, given what you've seen, and I know it's a small sample size, are they now your favorite team to win the Eastern Conference? Because they look really good. No one's talking about Milwaukee, and I understand that. And Giannis is ripped about it. But Philly looks really good and really dominant with these 2 guys playing at their best. I don't know who stops them. Miami doesn't have the defense to stop them.
You just said something negative about a Miami team? What the hell's wrong with you?
Someone check Ryan for
He moved to Nashville, and all of a sudden now he's like, oh, God.
Love you, Jimmy. I'm sorry.
Ryan. As usual, you are a prisoner of the moment. You see the shiny thing, and you're like, "This is the most incredible thing I've ever seen in
He's
my
looked
entire
great.
life." The Miami Heat has put up unbelievable wins with dudes like, I can't even tell you their names.
Yurt 7 is
Yurt 7, which I think is a number or a drink that I had once.
Caleb Martin.
I like Caleb Martin.
Yeah.
I like all the Martins, actually. But there is a sleeping giant, and I don't know that it's going to be a huge difference maker, but Victor Oladipo is about to come back to the Miami Heat. And you forget that they also have him on that team. And the Miami Heat are just getting healthy right now.
I'm so happy right now.
You're about to trade Bam for LeBron James. What are you talking about?
I'm blushing, if you can see.
All right.
You're making me so happy. Thank you, buddy.
We will see. And let's go to movies. Movies. All right. Uncharted. 40% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's unfair.
Critics.
That's unfair.
No. 89% of Google users like this movie.
That
should tell you everything. It's still hung on to the number one spot of the box office this week, leading up to next week, which obviously Batman is coming out. And
that's going to crash.
I'm pretty pumped about it from what I'm hearing. Anyway, we're talking about Uncharted. Treasure hunter Victor Sully Sullivan recruits street smart Nathan Drake to help him recover a 500-year-old lost fortune amassed by explorer Ferdinand Magellan. What starts out as a heist soon becomes a globe-trotting white-knuckle race to reach the prize before the ruthless Santiago can... Oh, that's worded kind of oddly. Before the ruthless Santiago can get his hands on it. If Sully and Nate can decipher the clues and solve one of the world's oldest mysteries, they stand to find $5 billion in treasure, but only if they can learn to work together.
It's a good synopsis.
I thought that was pretty good.
I am happy to see this, even though it is not critically beloved, do well at the box office, being that it is a video game property. Too many times it has gotten done way wrong.
Have either of you played the video game, by the way? Like, I was curious about how accurate. No, how accurate is this movie to like, the video game?
I mean, I think they take a lot of the same tropes from what you're going to see in the video game. There's scenes that are actually
from the video game and the
directly or indirectly lifted that they were like, hey, we're going to shoot around this, so it kind of looks like this thing that happened.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And obviously the play back and forth between Sully and Nathan.
I do want to let you know that throughout the time watching this movie, Josh is in my ear whispering during it. I don't, spoiler alert, maybe? No? Yeah.
Don't say what it is.
I'm not going to say, but he's whispering in my ear. He goes, it's that. It's that. And I'm like, come on, bro. No, it's not. And then he literally, he gives me the side eye like this in the movie, and I go, I hate you so much.
It was sort of how you and I were during Tenet when we realized what was going on. And you and I both just hit each other's arm. We're like, oh my God, I know what's happening. Yeah.
Josh is good. I've noticed he's very good at that, picking up those context clues throughout the movie. And that I was like, yep, okay.
All
I
right.
can see that.
So obviously, globetrotting action popcorn flick, even outside of being a video game property. Where do you rank this? Is this like a National Treasure level movie for you? Is it above that? It's not Indiana Jones. But it is kind of
they tried to be.
It's that vibe, right?
That vibe, yeah.
It's that vibe. But where would you rank this in your kind of pantheon of explorer finding the treasure style movie?
For me, I mean, I'm a history nerd, so National Treasure like really scratched the itch for me as number one.
I love National Treasure.
Indiana Jones would be the whole Indiana Jones series, except for the Crystal Skull.
Not the fourth one.
Not that one. We just don't. We're just going to ignore that.
They just finished filming the fifth one.
Yikes.
They just wrapped.
What about Tomb Raider? Is this like
so? What I was going to say
better
is
than Tomb Raider?
I feel like
it's better.
I feel like Uncharted is one of my favorite video game turned movie properties. That's what I thought it.
That's where you have it.
Yeah, it tries to do the Indiana Jones thing a little bit. It tries to do the National Treasure thing a little bit. My only real gripe with it, and we talked about this after the movie last night. I can't unsee Tom Holland as Spider-Man. And even when he's doing some of the like action
stunts,
stuff,
yeah, that's the body movements, right?
It's the body movements and how he contorts. I just go, oh, that's Spider-Man.
Right. Well, here's the other thing too. It's so fresh. Mm-hmm. It literally, they dropped right next to each other. Yep. So you have this movie that's breaking all these records, and then you have another movie come along that's breaking a lot of video game movie records, and he's the lead in both of them. So I do think that plays into it a little bit. And, obviously Tom Holland is a much different take on Nathan Drake compared to the video game.
No idea about the video game.
I was kind of intrigued, and maybe Mark Wahlberg has started to pigeonhole himself into this type of role, but like he's kind of reinvented himself as an actor. He's now coming off as this like brash kind of comedic, like don't take me too seriously, but take me seriously kind of actor. And he's
not Marky Mark anymore.
No, he's not. But it's like I love him.
He hasn't been that for a long time.
I love him in like Shooter, right? Like I see him in Shooter, and I'm like
Right.
that movie was excellent. And now he's kind of taking this role of being like the sarcastic bleep hole in these movies.
He's almost kind of Chris Pratting it up a little.
Yeah.
He's leaning into his Boston pretty hard.
He definitely is. And it's that like brash kind of like you like him, but you hate him. Like there's points in this movie where you're like, God, he's being a bleep hole. But then there's points where I'm like, yes, I love
that's
you more.
also what that character is that he's playing.
He does it well.
That is what he is supposed to do for that character. But again, you find yourself going, that's Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg. A lot of people, their complaint was, if there's going to be a complaint about this movie, didn't give them enough to really be developed as a character. It's Spider-Man in another movie. It's Mark Wahlberg as this character.
From the other guys.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, there is a little too much baggage with both of them to see them in these roles.
And there's a lot of like big brother, little brother type of playing throughout this, even though there's another brother aspect in this movie, but like you can sense that between the two of them. They're like push and pull.
Yeah.
It was cool. I liked it. I liked it.
I thought that the way they shot some of the scenes, like, obviously at the beginning of the movie coming out of the airplane,
Yes.
the camera underwater, like I was like, okay, this is really shot cinematically. It was really shot well.
There were a handful of scenes that were like angles and things that I had not seen in movies. That's like nerd side of it. I was like, oh, this is cool.
That's them grabbing they want you, if you played those video games, to kind of see the images the same way, I think. Yeah.
Then it worked. It worked really well. And that was kind of one of my favorite things of the movie was the way they shot it in specific scenes, especially a lot of the fight scenes and the action scenes were really, really cool. And it drew you in, right? That like obviously you were interested during those scenes, but that really drew you in and you felt more attached to it.
Shout out to Cream Henley shirts that seem to be the outfit for anyone that's exploring to find a treasure. So,
and that's from the video game as well.
it's also from Treasure Run or Temple Run. That's what it was. Temple Run.
Temple
Also,
Run.
like Tom Holland dove into water like 1,000,000 times in this film, like, and then miraculously dried off in 3 minutes. I never understood that.
It's a dry heat.
God,
what's wrong with me?
All right, next week. The Batman? It's 3 hours long.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I was pretty into the idea of Robert Pattinson, and then it's Paul Dano as the Riddler, right?
Paul Dano is the Riddler, and Colin Farrell does not look like himself. Have you seen the photos of him?
Yeah.
In this movie?
Yeah.
Like, does not look like himself. It's wild. It's
that alone, because Paul Dano is like silently one of those like really great actors that you forget, and then you see him on screen, you're like, oh wow.
And Andy Serkis is
as Alfred.
Yeah,
Serkis is just jumping from Marvel to DC.
He's just like, I'm just going to be everywhere as this character.
This is without question going to smash box office numbers post pandemic, right? Like this will be.
I don't know, man, because it's going to be really tough.
Spider-Man has been great, but this is going to be in the pantheon and on par with that.
Spider-Man wasn't just great. Spider-Man beat Avatar. Spider-Man destroyed Avatar
domestically. Yeah. I don't know that anything's going to top that this summer as far as like.
If there is anything, it's going to be this
box office numbers. I don't know, man. I don't
Doctor
think this
Strange.
Is gonna touch
let's go.
Yeah, it would have to be something else memorable. I would almost say.
I'm interested to see the reaction to it and how, because I think this will be one of those movies, much like Spider-Man, that brings America back to the theaters to see it in person, and the numbers are going to be insane. It's going to be exciting to see.
I want to throw one thing out there for anyone that is looking for a new series, and there's only I think 4 episodes of this so far, but it's on Epix, and so I think Hulu is who actually has the episodes. But this TV show called From. Have you heard about this?
No.
I mean, this is not either one of y'all's style.
Horror. Okay.
Yeah.
Horror, thriller,
I mean,
scary.
I showed
Out
him
to
this
kill you.
image, and this happens within like the first episode,
And for this reason, I'm out.
and it's terrifying.
It's basically what you would imagine as a vampire scary lady. Yeah, not
and-
into it.
Yeah, it's literally the thing under the screen. Scary grandma strikes and jump scare clip from epic series From. Really, really interesting. It's not vampires. It's kind of a twist on that. And this doesn't give anything away that you wouldn't see within the first 5 minutes of the first episode. But basically, everyone in this town can't leave. Once you're in the town, that's all there is the town. And if you like try to drive away,
Great
you
movie,
basically
by the
go
way.
in a circle. The town. Once you see this tree that's blocking the road, you're basically caught in whatever loop this is, and you can't leave. And so all these people come to this town, and once they get stuck, there's a lot more that you can delve into. But the biggest thing is once the sun goes down, they all have to be inside with a talisman above their door for whatever reason, which they haven't gotten to yet. That talisman keeps these people out that aren't people.
But
They're
you said you have to
monsters.
invite them in, right? Is the key?
If you invite them in, they kill everybody.
Are you in?
It's so good.
When the sun goes down on my side. No, I will be not watching this one.
When the sun goes down.
And you said it's a series, right? Like it's not a movie. right?
No, it
It's a
is a
series,
series.
right? Yeah.
It is a series. So definitely dug into that last night. Woke up in the middle of the night and had one of those things where I'm like, well,
Lock your doors and
I'm
make sure.
awake, so I guess I ought to watch something.
And you were able to go back to sleep after watching that.
Oh yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, no.
I'm not.
wouldn't.
I don't get afraid of scary movies like that.
I do.
I'd be putting my furniture up against my front door, barricading myself inside and being like, nope, gonna go to bed now. Yeah.
This is the other thing that there's actually later on in one of the episodes they say one of the scariest things about him. It's like this guy just for no reason at all looks at someone and he goes, "They never run." He was like, "What?" He goes, "They never run. Foreshadowing. They know they're going to get us eventually." It's like they're toying with us. It's so creepy. It's just the character development, like you feel an investment to each of the individual characters. They all kind of have their own thing, their own space. There's a bunch of stuff that's not even revealed yet about them. You can sense tension between some characters. The people that have been there for a while versus the people that are just getting there. It's great.
So
It's a
maybe
great
you
show.
just like you don't spend the energy running away. You just brisk walk and
You
conserve.
briskly walk.
You just, hello, sir, and then you social distance your way around it, and you live forever.
Well, the thing is with
Around the tree, you socially
with these
distance around the tree, yeah.
creatures, their thing is like you don't want to look at them because there's something that like draws you in, and that's the vampire part of it, right? They're not vampires, but it's that same. You have to be invited in.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Is there a character that's blind in the show already?
No.
Let me know if a blind person comes in because they are gonna save everything.
That's the one that saves
Interesting.
everything. Yeah.
I like that. That's
Like,
interesting.
yeah. Gets the senses it all. Like a
That's how I'd write it.
sense.
That's how I'd write it.
Okay, let's go to the hot take.
Hot take!
All right. This is a different hot take than we normally do. But with March Madness coming up, I'm going to say it right now. The team that wins this year will be a 7 seed or below. This is the most wide open I've ever seen it. Jumping back to our point of 7's my lucky number. This is the year of 7s popping up in my life.
ACMs are on the 7th.
ACMs are on the 7 nominations. Like this is it. It's going to be 7 seed or below. 7 teams lost out of the top 10 the other day. Come on. This is it. It is not going to be one of the majors that you're always expecting who it'll be. There's just so much parity.
So I'm looking at Joe Lunardi's bracketology, which again, Selection Sunday isn't until like 2 weeks from now because you still have the
Right, we
conference
still got-
tournaments.
we
to
still
get
got a little
through.
bit to go.
Which, by the way, SEC men's basketball tournament will be in Tampa just in a few weeks. for the record.
Florida man.
And I'll be there for it ahead of your shows in the great state of Florida. But looking at Joe Lunardi's bracketology here, here's who he has as 7 seeds right now in each region. And you tell me if you think any of these teams are worthy of winning a national championship. Michigan State is one. Boise State is another.
Smurf turf.
You're just going to do this.
I'm going to do this two guys thing, right? Just some sort of nickname or thing about each one of them.
Iowa State, Cyclones. Marquette would be a 7th seed.
Marquette's good.
Yeah, Dwayne Wade's alma mater. So those would be your
Jimmy
7
Butler.
seeds right now.
I can absolutely see Tom
You feel
Izzo
it's
making
7
a run.
seed or lower. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. And technically, the lowest seed to ever win an NCAA tournament is the 8th seed. It's happened a couple times. Most recently, I believe, was Villanova.
Oh, wow. That's actually
They
more
were
recently.
they were an 8th seed. So it's not impossible. So this might not be the most scorching hot take I've ever made, but I'm telling you right now, I'm calling it. I'm going out on a limb. This is one of those years that it is wide open. 7 seed or below.
I do think there's going to be upset city this year.
That's what I'm saying.
do
But there
agree
is
with you.
every year, for the record. Like, every year there's major upsets that happen
Well,
in
yeah,
the
like
NCAA tournament.
MTSU upsetting
I love when they go deep.
Michigan
It's
State.
so-
What in
that's-
Michigan State
yeah,
that they upset that one year? Yeah. Shout out to my Blue Raiders, people out there.
Didn't Virginia lose as a 1-16?
Yeah, they lost to UMBC.
Yeah,
if you
that's
remember
right.
back in the day. That was actually just a
That
few
was-
years ago.
that was the first
2018.
time,
That was
wasn't it?
2018, yeah.
It was the first
Yeah,
time.
first
a
time at
16 to
1. Yeah. This is going to be a crazy year for March Madness, but I'm going to take the opposite here because I think this is the year where a blue blood does win it. I think you're going to see a Kentucky type or a Gonzaga. By the way, Gonzaga always is among the top seeds in the tournament and never wins the tournament.
I know. That's my
Ever.
point. You're making my point for me.
This is going to be the year where a Gonzaga or a Kentucky or an Auburn, one of the top teams and top seeds, this could be a year where you get all ones in a Final Four.
Ryan, I am so incredibly shocked that you would take chalk.
Yeah, I like chalk. I don't like eating chalk, but I don't like chalk. I don't like writing chalk on a chalkboard. It's weird to me. Like I don't know, I'm a big texture guy.
It's a
And when
texture
you
thing for Ryan.
Like if you do a bracket,
He has
don't
to have
do it.
hot nutty buddies
Yeah,
and
don't-
no
Ah,
chalk.
no chalk.
I hate all of this.
No chalk.
I don't know. I don't trust Gonzaga. I like Chet Holmgren, but like just let him score in the post all game and then bury him with threes and you win. That's just math.
Yep. Which
Tennessee has a bunch
who
of-
shoots threes. Marquette
does. Tennessee has a bunch of top 10 wins, like good wins. They also
and they
blow
have a bunch of crappy losses.
and they have a bunch of crappy losses. So like there's a large level
not a bunch. Let's
enough
yeah.
enough random ones.
Yeah.
Arkansas is pretty feisty. Like there are some.
Arkansas is feisty.
I like that description.
No one's
They're
talking
pretty
about
feisty.
Baylor, by the way. Baylor won the championship last year, and they're still one of the top teams in the country this year.
It's just so hard to repeat. You almost never see
don't.
back to back. So
What are Baylor's losses this year?
They are 16 or 24-5, I should say, this year.
I didn't say what's their record. I said, what are their losses?
Yeah, well, we're getting to that. We're getting to that in terms of what their losses are this year. But right now, they have a really good record, is what they have. So, but their losses this year include Texas Tech.
Good team.
That was the most recent loss that they have had. They've also lost this year to Oklahoma State, which was unranked, Alabama, Kansas, which was ranked, and then most recently Texas Tech. So those are their losses this year.
those are good losses.
Twice to Texas Tech, by the way, who was ranked lower than them.
I mean, I can also just go
Got
ahead
their
and
number.
say, no, I can also go ahead and say it was very interesting watching them this season. They've been an interesting team to watch. But again, I think this is so wide open, and in a one and done tourney, we're going to get.
So how are we
some really
positioning
low
this? Is
seeds.
it like chalk versus underdogs? Like how are we positioning this as the hot take for people to vote on this year?
My hot take is that I think it is going to be a team ranked 7th or lower to win this tournament.
I like how you're doing this on the precipice of March, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Well done. Josh, where do you reside, my friend?
I don't think any of the 1 seeds are going to make it to the championship game.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you that right now.
Which we don't know who the 1 seeds are yet, but we have a pretty good idea of who.
I have a pretty good
We
idea,
got a
and I
pretty
don't,
good
I don't
idea,
think
yeah.
I don't trust any of those teams to not blow a close game. I'm going a solid 4 seed is winning this, winning the whole thing.
A 4 seed.
All right. Well,
A
it's you and,
3 or 4. A 3 or 4. Wherever
you and Ryan versus me. Let's go.
I like that.
Let's go. I'll take it.
March Madness is here.
Yes, it is. And here we go.
I got to heat mine up, don't I?
Thank you guys so much for listening to The Quad with Chris Young. As always, I'm Chris. From Ryan, Josh, we love you guys. See you next week. Take care, buddy.